Here's exactly how I shoot cinematic content for clothing brands. So main things I want to go over is why I shoot handheld, why I shoot with manual lenses, and the frame rates I use. So first thing, why shoot handheld? It really worked for this shoot because they're taking photos of different models. Some models will work with me and get some video. And since this shoot was so fast, shooting handheld was invaluable. I'm going to different locations, I'm working with different models, and when I didn't have a lot of time, I was still able to get a lot of coverage and a lot of different shots. A lot of creative shots too. I could easily get in shots from a lower angle, a higher angle. I was kind of shooting more ad style content and also more cinematic commercial short film content. And I was able to do it all because I was so fast on the day. But something underrated that makes all this possible is utilizing this one piece of equipment, and that's the Atomos Ninja 5 monitor. Whenever I see a videographer without an external monitor, I kind of cringe a little bit. As a videographer, our main job is to get a good shot anywhere. All the tools this monitor comes with, false color, a lot more reliable than like the zebras on your monitor. Having the exact LUT I edit with. Basically, this monitor allowed me to shoot how I like to film things. That helps me get cinematic content. Number 2, I film with manual lenses, and this was one of the shoots where it paid off. So shooting with this client, shout out Prevail Clothing, and I pretty much had good lighting all around, so I only needed maybe one LED panel to make up for some shadows if I needed it. And since the lighting, for the most part, was taken care of, pairing that with a cinematic manual lens was super useful. I used 2 manual lenses, the Rokinon 35mm and the 85mm. Mostly had the 35mm for the majority of the day. And the big difference was the character in the image. Though you're able to get a multitude of shots with your 24-70, it just seemed a little too basic, and I wanted to challenge myself to get the best image possible. And these manual lenses do exactly that. Everywhere I go, I got great vignetting, lens character, flaring, a little soft glass look, but still sharp cine lenses. And so when lighting wasn't a problem, these lenses enhanced every shot I filmed. Everything looked like a movie. I have another video about the Helios lens I recently bought, $50. If you want to get your first vintage lens, that's perfect. As a videographer, I know you had to get every shot, and autofocus is sometimes necessary for certain industries, but my brand is very cinematic and manual lenses worth it. Extremely cool detail about the 85mm. Looks really good on close-ups, makes faces look really good on camera. But the second reason is what I often do, is having the specific camera movement of moving around the subject, a little half axis. And because the telephoto lens compresses the background behind them, it really emphasizes that camera movement. Super cool technique. Don't make the mistake I did though. I feel like a couple times in the shoot, I got carried away and I shot at too low of a f-stop, t-stop. It was just unnecessary. I'm either making it harder on myself of getting focus, or 2, I had a macro lens and I was getting the logo close up and it just was unnecessarily low f-stop. A lot of time in fashion content, you're gonna show the logo, a detail for 1 to 2 seconds, probably tops. So make sure everything's in focus, they see the logo and you move on. So I definitely learned from that. Next up, number 3 is the frame rates. By the way, if you're a videographer, a video editor, and you're liking this content, subscribe. I got a bunch of content that's valuable for filming better content and editing better videos. I think I shot around half and half of 24 and 60. Going up to 120, I knew was unnecessary. I have a whole video of why. You can watch that for my full explanation. Going back from 24 to 60 was perfect. While shooting 24 frames per second, because there's more motion blur, that's when I do these whip cuts because I knew what transitions I'd use in post. 24 frames per second is when I'd shoot the boxing footage, when I wanted the movement to look as fast and real as possible. Plenty in 60 frames per second as well. I love using speed ramping to really dictate the pace of my edits. And going in between 2 frame rates, that's why it's so important to have those settings in your camera for you to just flip back and forth. I think when people film fashion content, they shoot a little too much in slow motion. The whole video is maybe like a white backdrop and a slow motion of the fashion model. I think after the first 5 or 6 seconds, that might get a little dry. I think switching it up midway, having exciting pacing. I use the term crescendo. It's basically the pacing, kind of slow motion, build up, exciting moment, slow down, slow motion, focus on this one cool shot, and then start again. And since I have so much camera movement that I filmed in this actual project, I actually used a bunch of cinematic sound design in the actual edit. The link is in the video description for the Video Loadout Sound Effects Pack, Crescendo. Great for cinematic content, working with clients, ads, product videography, all that. Perfect for videographers. That was pretty much the 3 main things that I needed to adjust for this specific project. Something that was helpful was just a loose game plan. Because it was such an on-the-fly project, client was busy, didn't have a lot of prep, I just really made sure to have my coverage, film for the edit, and film a unique reason somebody would share the video. If you want to film content like this, I recommend just shooting some spec work. I think I shot an Adidas commercial before this, and just a bunch of cold outreach, I was able to land this client. And I really like this industry, the fashion industry, almost as creative as filming a music video. You get to use really cool effects, really stylistic footage, and is a great business to work in. So let me know if you have any comments about getting work like this yourself or making any specific type of content. I'll answer however I can.